The podcast that makes a personal connection to everything Apple. For this episode, actually, I want to introduce the beginning and end of an application called Mixel by Lasco. I know it's very rare to talk about the beginning and end of something. Usually I'm celebrating an application, but I want to do both only because this happens to be an application that is dear to my heart, and I'm sorry to see it go. Again, the application is called Mixel, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you what it looks like if you're not familiar. It's basically an online community for creating collages with a community of friends. It's a totally different approach to creating art. Usually when you think of creating art, you think of it as an isolated activity. You shut the door, you're just one with the materials that you're using, no one else is around to bother you, and you just rely on your inner creativity and intuitiveness to come up with some fantastic art. Well, you're still relying on your intuition and your creativity, but Mixel is unique in that it's entirely a shared experience. There's nothing that you're working with on Mixel that isn't shared by others. And as a matter of fact, you actually anticipate what other people are creating during the whole process. And that's what makes Mixel so unique and why I'm so excited to talk about it right now. So this is what it looks like. What you're looking at right now are all the recent updates, all the Mixels that people have created recently. You notice in the middle of the tab there's My Mixels. These are all the Mixels that I've created. And I've had a lot of fun creating them too. And then there are the popular Mixels, the Mixels that get the most responses. So let me show you exactly how Mixel works. Basically, you'll get an invitation, and someone will send you a mix that they've created using different collage materials. I'm going to go ahead and create one. So I'm going to hit this plus sign here and just start a new Mixel. Okay, I have a blank canvas, and then I'm going to go ahead and click Add Image. And I'm going to Popular on Mixel. This is basically a library of different images that you can just pull into your collage. Some of them are transparent, some of them are not. Just go ahead and just tap on this flower here. And you can just choose as many elements as you want and mix them any kind of way you want. I'm just going to bring in this one image for now, just so you can see the interface and how it works. There you go. It says I have one image here. And I'm just showing you what you can do with this one image. You can flip it back and forth. If you have more than one image, you can send it to the back or the front. You can crop it. So I can actually take my finger, draw across the surface, and then hit done and crop a segment of that image. You can also duplicate, create multiple images. So you see how fast the collage actually comes together. You can undo any kind of decisions you've made. So it's pretty easy. Some of the images are transparent, and so you can do some interesting layers and so forth. So that's what you can do with an image when you have it in Mixel. And then when you're ready to share it, you can click Invite Friends, and you can go through all the people who are on Mixel and send them invitations, and they in turn will take everything that you've created, all the component parts that you've used, and they will reassemble them, add their own pieces, and create something totally original out of what you initiated. So there's this interconnected link between you and the other Mixlers. It's very cool. Now, just so you can get a sense of how Mixel works, here is a thread that was created a while back. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning by the person who posted this. And Kika, I believe is her name. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. She's very talented, very active on Mixel. And she posted this image here. I know it's pretty freaky just seeing someone peel their skin back on the face there. But it prompted such a large response. And you can see all the cool solutions that people came up with when they went in and remixed this collage. See, there's that funny image with Jack Nicholson. And here's one I created. This actually turned out to be one of my favorite Mixels. But as you can see, everyone came up with some wonderful solutions. And again, they're all original, but they're all stemming from a shared experience. materials that everyone is building on to create their own original collage. And that's really what Mixel is about. The sad thing is, Mixel will no longer exist come the beginning of September. And I must say I was devastated because I finally found an application that I really enjoyed. Mainly because you can tap into your inner creativity, but you can also share it with a community of like-minded people. I mean, you can decide to like a Mixel, you can leave a comment to let people know how you feel about it. You can send some love to the Mixel that you like, and you can share any image that you happen to come across on Mixel to Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, email. You can open in Safari and save to your photo library. Pretty awesome. So why are they putting an end to Mixel? Such an ingenious idea. Why would someone do this? Well, we got an email not too long ago. I'm going to pull up that email now. It came from someone named Quo Vin, who is the CEO of Mixel. And he says, hello, we're sending an email to people like yourself who have formed the active, passionate, and amazing core of the Mixel community since our launch. It's been so gratifying to watch your endless creativity, and we can't thank you enough for it. Unfortunately, we've decided that the time has come to put this first iteration of Mixel to rest. As of this Friday, August 10th, new users will no longer be able to download Mixel for iPad from the App Store. On that day, we'll announce this news to the entire Mixel user base with a blog post. But we wanted to let you know about it first. And it seems to me that the crux of it, there really aren't enough people using Mixel. And this is a small startup company, and they just don't have the energy to put into an application like this for the benefit of a chosen few, albeit how creative and vibrant this community may be. It's just not large enough. I'm assuming that the developers, because there are so few of them and they want this to be more of a monetary reward of some sort, that they need millions and millions of people to be involved in this application. And that's my take on it. They actually said they're working on another application that's going to be released soon that's supposed to be taking certain aspects of Mixel, the collaging aspect of it, the sharing community aspect of it. But my idea is this. If you're already putting some of the Mixel aspects into a new application, why not just build on and improve the current one? It seems a bit contradictory there, and I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's technical. Maybe from a developer standpoint, it's just too difficult to recode the current app. The developers mentioned something about a problem with Bing's APIs, which is why over the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've had a hard time searching images on Bing's image search. We just couldn't access it. I wound up having to turn to Safari and downloading images that way and importing them into my library and then retrieving images from my library and bringing them into Mixel, which was, 3, 4, 5 additional steps. I thought maybe they were going to come along with a fix, but apparently it is a Bing issue that the developers are having a difficult time correcting. And so rather than spend a lot of time trying to rebuild the current app, they decided to start from scratch and build a new one. But they're also building a new one with the understanding that it's going to be much more of a popular app, one that's a little bit more accessible to the average person. One thing I noticed is that you don't see a lot of young people using Mixel. The diehards who are on there now, those who I communicate with now on a regular basis, up until the very end before Mixel is canceled, all seem to be at least 40 and over. I could be wrong, but I do not see any young faces. And so I'm wondering if that's it. Maybe the developers have recognized that there's an age gap with this application, and that's not what they intended Mixel to be. Maybe they thought Mixel was going to be more of a family-oriented kind of app, one that's just as popular for kids as it is for adults. And maybe that's just not happening. I don't know. He didn't mention that in his email, but I'm willing to guess that maybe that has something to do with it. Nonetheless, I love Mixel. I'm truly going to mix it. I'm truly going to mix it. I'm truly going to miss it. And as you can see, I enjoyed it immensely. Here are all of my Mixels here. And as you can see, I had a whole lot of fun. I've downloaded them all to my library, and I'm going to make a little slideshow later on to show you. So, hello to Mixel and goodbye to Mixel. This is Tim Brown, your host of my Apple Podcast. Check me out at myapplepodcast.com. I'll see you next time.